With spanners in the works and cars in the gravel, the barrier and the pit lane for various different penalties, it's time that we have a bit of a conversation about IMSA's latest trip to Road America. I will start off with the winners because I'd said earlier when I was doing my preview for this event to expect to see the BMWs be up towards the front. I expected the Porsche to be back towards the front in terms of race pace as well, and to a degree they were. I didn't expect the BMWs to win a 1-2, but it was really well done by the 24 and the 25 to win out on strategy and also to just have the pace anyways. I mean, they had the single lap pace, they had the long run pace, and they managed to make the strategy work to be able to get the win and a 1-2, and that's a big deal for BMW. They held off the pole sitting Meyer Shank Acura, Renger van der Zande and Nicola Ellerly, the 93, whilst in fourth place was the lead Cadillac, the Wayland 31. It was an interesting race in terms of those results, and in addition to the fact that in P6 was car 23, the Aston Martin Heart of Racing team, the Valkyrie. It's its best result yet in any competition. That's great to see. It's great to see that at the end of the 66 laps they were able to be that high up. However, while we talk about GTPs, it wasn't really the best weekend for Porsche. Fifth was the best that they could get, and that was with the 6 for Jaminet and Campbell. And, well, meanwhile, the 7 finished 22nd, 11th in class. Behind all but one of the LMP2s, they had a lap penalty essentially for an incident with the 60. And yeah, it's a shame because they did show the pace, and it was Tandy behind the wheel who had been having a decent season in the early part of it, but has just ended up in incidents in the last few races. But the question you might have is, how did this GTP end up on the same lap as most of the LMP2s? Well, in the same way that all but one of the LMP2s that finished was on the lead lap. There were so many cautions. Cautions do breed cautions in motorsport, but oh boy, it was just at some points wholly unnecessary. You just saw drivers driving into each other at points. And the broadcasts were quite keen to point out that this is a 6-hour race next year. And it's strange because Rodam does often present these opportunities and make things more prone to incidents, but even by those standards, this was somewhat exceptional. Like, this was something that would be more likely to be expected at somewhere like if you had all of the classes of the IR. It's part of the reason why there are only the GTs there is because, well, you can't really multi-class there. But you can multi-class at Rodam, and it has been successful before. So I need to figure out what they're going to do about it, because in 12 months' time, it's not a 2-hour 40 race, it's a 6-hour. Anyways, I glossed over the other classes, so let's quickly talk about them. When it came to the LMP2s, it was another win for Spike. It was another win for AI Racing. They beat the Inter Europol 43, and the podium was rounded out by the TDS 11. Elsewhere, there was good performances for the United 2 and the Era Motorsports 18, who were 5th in class. And those were good runs for United, especially given that, well, all of the issues that happened to the sister car, the 22, that was out on lap 1. It did come back in, and it was still running at the end. It was just shy of getting past the number 52, which would have potentially got it some extra points. But the key thing was to try and keep running. GTD Pro saw 3 different manufacturers in the top 3 and 4 different manufacturers in the top 4. It was a win for the number 1. It was needed, and like I said, the BMW is good in the straight line, but unsurprisingly, so is the Mustang, which was second for Rockefeller and Prix, with the podium being rounded out by Costa and Altoi's Dragon Speed Ferrari. They led home the top 2 GTDs, who we'll get to in a moment, who were ahead of 4th place, the Corvette racer by Pratt Miller Motorsport, number 3. Whilst the number 4, well, that was a shame, the kind of retirement that happened there, and so late in the race as well. Well done by them to, not cause another yellow flag, and that became another safety car caution period. But elsewhere, the biggest story I think that came from GTD Pro this weekend was something that came across the 2 GTD categories. And it was a really nice story in that Forte loaned out their backup car to Faf, because Faf's car was destroyed through crash damage. That was a really nice sight to have, because it showed the kind of camaraderie you see in the motorsport paddock and people looking out for their fellow competitors. As for Forte with GTD, they were second, behind the Triassic Competizione Ferrari 021, podium being rounded out by the Conquest Ferrari, making it an all-Italian podium in GTD. Behind them were the Turner BMW and then the Wayne Taylor Racing Lamborghini. And actually, that meant that the top 5 of GTD were ahead of 5th place in GTD Pro, the Mies Vervish Multimatic Mustang. Now, as for the championship standings, the gap has grown even more in the GTP standings. It is now, 75 points between the lead Porsche of Cambour Jaminet and then second place of Nasser and Tandy, though since we haven't had, particularly much in the way of endurance races as of late, they still lead the Michelin Endurance Championship 35 points to 28. Third place now is Eng and Vantor, and they are within 200 points of the championship lead. It could still swing back. It's something like 380 for the best results that you can get. No, 385 is the max that you can get in the course of a weekend. So it could swing around in theory with these final 2 races, but it also might not. They've just jumped Yellerly and Van der Zande into 3rd place in the standings. And I would say also, feasibly, the likes of Albuquerque and Taylor, Ricky Taylor that is, could be in contention. They're 300 points back. Longfist and Braun are just over 300 points back, as well as are Van der Linde and Wittmann. And the same for Jack Aitken. All it takes is nightmare weekends for some and wonderful weekends for others. Anyways, folks, those are my thoughts, feelings, and observations. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching and joining, and until next time, it's bye-bye for now.